This meeting is being recorded by the. Wow, that's small. By local TV, anyone intending to make audio or video of this recording of this meeting should notify the chair at this time.
Roll call, Joseph Cunningham,
Here.
Pat Rooney.
Here.
Melissa Bateman. Here. Eileen Moynihan. Eileen, you're here, right?
Here.
Suzanne Haggerty.
Had all you guys here in a long time. We missed you. Thank you. I would like to just request after the meeting minutes approval, if we go out of order, to the athletic complex so that we can, if we have some guests joining us.
Okay. Everyone have a chance to look over the meeting minutes from our last meeting,
Yes.
October 7th. All right, can we get approval of the meeting?
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from October 7th.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So roll call, sorry.
No roll calls because we're all here.
Anyone in what order?
Yes, if we
Yes.
could do that. So we'll skip down to the athletic complex field updates. As we do have a couple people here. I can go over some quick updates and then let the guests talk, and then Don can also speak on behalf of KYSO if he has additional updates. Just for property updates, we had a meeting with regard to the security of the concession stand with the facilities manager of the town of Kingston and also our police chief Holmes, just to talk about changes and transitions and things like that. So one of the things we talked about is talking to the commission tonight, which we'll go back to afterwards, is shifting our capital plan to possibly include a more in-depth security system. That's what the chief recommends, something that is Wi-Fi and has a little bit more value, something that we can hook up to the mainframe of the town hall security system. So it would be a little bit more costly because we'd need to run some wiring through there. So that will be something that we'll discuss a little bit later. But that was the recommendation, just because it is a spot that's so removed from, visual sight and things like that. Regarding turf management, our turf contractor will be coming back sometime this month or the very beginning of December to do the aeration and a little bit of overseeding. He waits usually until after everything's done. So we have the Cold Turkey Tournament, which is next weekend. And then the weekend after that, we have the Bendeshi's Village fundraiser on the 29th. So he'll be doing some of his turf work between that time frame and at the very end of that. The irrigation and well update, so they are complete for the winter. Everything is done with the project excluding the final turn on. We did do a quick turn on, but they had to make some adjustments on that. So we're looking forward to moving forward next year and have the system operational. They are going to plan to schedule us as soon as possible, weather permitting, just to see if there's any adjustments that need to be made on the system. But the plan, everything went great. We have a lot of water there. We have a much higher capacity and water flow. That's the great news. The not unfortunate, but the other news is we may have to adjust our pumps and motors so that we can accommodate the capacity that we now have the ability to have. Because right now with the pumps and motors that we have, they're much smaller based off of our previous wells. And we can only run one controller at a time, which, as we know, we have over 80 zones there. So only running one controller at a time, we have to alternate days, which means certain fields get watered in one day and then certain fields get watered in the other day, which is okay in the early spring, but not so much in the summertime. So I'm getting some prices on that. I talked to the electrician about our variable frequency drives. He doesn't think we need to update that. We might have to do a little bit of electrical updates, but we'll kind of see. So I'm putting some figures together to that to see if that's something that we can internally accommodate. I have no idea on the cost on that.
I was gonna say, that's the one with CPC umbrella.
If we have money available, it would still be under that same, yes, it would still be under the project. I don't know that there's any funds available after that for that. So we'll have to just see where we fall with that. But the good news is hopefully we'll be operational just at that capacity. Mowing, we had our new mowing contractor for this season. They were great. Everything worked really well. So they'll be coming back in the springtime. Their contract is a 1 year with an option to renew. I think it's either for 3 or 5 years. I have to double check that. But so he'll be back in the springtime. I thought they did a great job. And so we're looking forward to working with them.
Robots, man.
Robot, I know.
That
It's
thing
pretty-
was crazy.
I
I
know.
saw her out there. I was like, where's the human?
I
Like,
know.
it's like a regular lawnmower with no person.
Yeah.
That's strange.
And they got I mean, there was only 2 guys and they got everything done with a crew of 6 before, you know, and they took them all day. So it was pretty incredible. Winterization, so obviously we're not gonna winterize the concession stand until after Bendeshi's Village, but it will be done pretty much right after that. So just to remind KYSO and sports organizations that the restrooms will be shut down, all the water will be shut down. So there should not be any access into the building for water utilization or anything like that. The heat gets turned down and the water heater also gets turned on. So just to let everybody know, we'll do that right after Bendeshi's Village. We do have our property walkthrough. It's for all the properties under the jurisdiction of the Rec Commission, but we'll start at Opachinski on November 20th at 3 p.m. And that's for anybody to join. That's our annual walkthrough. We started a few years ago just to kind of walk through the entire property to see where we're at. And it's an opportunity for the sports organizations also to participate and join so that we can kind of do a collaborative plan. And then we can start to put things on our capital plan based off of the needs. If there are things that can be repaired quickly, our facilities department, Rob, will be there as well. So that those are the things that we kind of put on that list and they kind of work together to move forward with. One of the things from last year that didn't get done, just to update everybody, is the bleachers. There's some railings that are missing on the bleachers. Some of those parts are there. However, our facilities department, those aren't owned by the town. Those are all individual to KYSO, all the bleachers. So those are something that the town doesn't feel as far as they have the, because we don't have all the parts. So that would be something that KYSO will have to manage. And we can get the parts to do that, but to figure that out, KYSO, if there's more detail, because it looks like some of them, it's not a matter of just screwing them back on. I think there's a couple of pieces missing and things like that. So we
It's
can talk
about
about
it's like 4 mounts, I think, that have you screwed on to the things, you can put those.
right.
That are now stored behind the announcement.
Yeah, so not all the parts are there. There's still some pieces missing, so we'd have to work with, you know, KYSO to get those additional parts, because again, that's not town-owned property. Anything that KYSO has asked for permission to put on property that's not a permanent structure has got approval from the Rec Commission, but then, you know, like nets and things like that, then those are still the property of those organizations or KYSO. So that's kind of a quick update on us. I don't know, John, if you have any other updates prior to football's request.
I just have a couple quick notes. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Sports are winding down. Fall sports are winding down. We're about to go into the off season. Our treasurer role is going to be vacated. We identified a candidate. His name's Pat Airy. His resume is going to go out tonight to the board. And if all goes well, a vote will happen and transition will start next week and complete by the end of year. Next meeting for KYSO is next Wednesday night. It's the 20th of November. I'll send out more information once we identify what time. We're trying to have it early because of Thanksgiving. And then December's meeting will be, it won't take place on the last Monday of the month. We're going to try to do an in-person get together for the holidays and with the idea that all meetings after that will be in person once we just nail down a couple venues. Other than that, that's kind of all I have right now. I'll have more information. I'll send it along once I get it. Thanks.
Thank you. Just one other thing I wanted to add is just at KYSO meetings. I know Pat's there on behalf of the Rec Commission and I've been attending as well. So I'll do that as much as I can moving forward. And then the only thing that I know that I'll be talking a little bit more with KYSO about is scheduling, just to kind of streamline the whole process of that. With a lot of changes in KYSO board members and sports organizations. I think just to come up with a little bit definitive plan and timing. Once I can get more information from the sports groups as to when they get their schedule, so that we can set up a deadline so that it's not as much kind of last minute. I know things come up last minute, but it gives a little bit more, I think it's easier for all the sports organizations, so that if we have kind of say, we need your schedule by this time, because part of that for us is there's only two of us here and I manage the majority of the field use scheduling. So if something comes in and I'm out, then it kind of gets hung in limbo for a little bit. And the other thing too is obviously, as some people know, we rent out those fields to other organizations, which helps bring in some additional funds. But I never want to do that until the sports groups are in place, but we also do need to kind of set a timeline for that. And I want to make sure it's when the sports group. So I'll be working with John and some of the other people on the board to kind of finalize some of the date deadlines that will work with the sports organizations and when they get their schedules from the leagues and things like that. So just other things we're going to be working on. And then, so I know we have representatives from football and they had requested to come in and request, so with some of the concession stand challenges. Football, I know I had an opportunity to do some fundraising and would like to request that the rec commission approve some adjustments to the concession stand with a donation from Silver Lake Youth Football. So, guys.
Yeah, you can first.
Few low numbers, but basically, so snack shop is broken into, it's town owned property, but, the town replaced the windows. We had the donation event, we were able to raise a bunch of money for, replacing lost items. So like I said, the town insurance didn't meet the, deductible, so we, replaced the food. And then we kept the donation like open for a while. A lot of towns, a lot of communities, a lot of surrounding communities donated literally a lot, which was nice. A lot of sports programs from surrounding towns. So, very grateful of how much they donated for security updates to that building, so it doesn't happen again. I know it's been a long discussion for years about what we're going to do there and how we can keep that place, whose responsibility is, and how we're going to manage cameras or whatever security. I'm glad it's an open discussion again. As of right now, we have a certain amount of money that we raised. We'd like to contribute that money directly to security upgrades of that concession stand. I emailed some quotes from local companies that were very helpful. One is a pull down similar to the front of the building, behind where we have our grill, because we have to have a pass-through window there to keep the door shut so people don't come in and out of that other thing. So this will be an interior security pull down. We have a quote for it. And then the back 3 windows, which are not used on a regular basis. The options was to have the same pull downs, would be very expensive. Pull downs similar to like gates in like a clothing store at a mall or something like that, which again makes it look like a prison. We're trying to avoid that. It was recommended to have what's called security screens, which are used for security purposes, but also to look like screens and have clear visibility. That is unable to be really broken into, be used for security, but also like hurricane weather. So basically it protects the glass, prevents break-ins, but doesn't make it look like prison. Those windows not used much, so we got quotes for those from one company, pulled down from another company. We'd like to go forward. We'd like to be able to at least write a check for the security pull down for that main window, which is inside the food vending area. There's 2 locks that prevent the rear area for getting access to both, but eventually those security screens should be put on. We think those security screens should be put on the factory. We would like to, do the initial payment to the town, whoever wants to take that thing to get that security screen, the pull down as soon as possible. The company's willing to do it as soon as we. I think we have to give a little deposit, but we have the money for that. We don't have the money for all the things. There's been discussions on whether we should open donations again, or whether we should ask KYSO or the town to contribute to, since it's a town building and KYSO, a group organization used building. So we have a certain amount that we can absolutely just give the town today to get that thing with the approval, pull down, get that going so it's safe and secure for the remainder of the winter. And then whether or not we have to raise money and talk to KYSO or talk to the town, get a bunch of rules to pay the remaining amount, we'll give the remaining amount that we have towards those security screens. Emailed quotes for the things, if you want to know exact prices and towns willing to.
We also received quotes, so I mean,
Okay.
I know that you got some quotes. We actually got quotes that were a little bit lower than that. from
Awesome.
some, companies, so I think for at this point, what the commission would need to do is number one, vote to approve to have those types of shutter, hurricane shutter screens installed on the concession stand, first of all, in conjunction with the donation from football and how much money that would be. And then once that's done, then basically how that would work is if the commission votes to approve that, because it's a permanent structure on the building, then we would own them moving forward if anything were to happen to them. But if in finding out what the funding is from football first, then that can determine what next steps are if we need additional funding. Obviously, if we don't use all the money, if we're able to accommodate it, then we don't take. So if you have a maximum amount that you want to go up to, that's kind of what could be
5844 is how much we have.
5844.
Yeah.
5,800.
Okay.
Yep.
So I don't know if the commission has any questions or if somebody wants to make a motion on that. I can give you some information that we received from our so the next steps too, as far as once, if it was approved and you have that, we have that dollar amount, then I would go back to our facilities manager and he and I would work together on coming up with a plan, working with a vendor and actually making it happen. So you guys wouldn't need to be involved with any of that stuff. It would still be based off of what you originally wanted. The company that he's looking for, it's called, one of the companies, they work with a company called Hurricane Shutter Company. So it is those door, roll up ones that you originally wanted, similar to what's.
Is it an interior one or an exterior?
I believe it's an exterior one, so I don't have all the details and he hasn't come up with it. He hasn't come over to look at it. He kind of just gave us a quick number so that we could have something to work with. But he said they could do all the windows for probably the most $9,000 or less. And then the one window they could probably do for maybe about 2,500, but again, that's just an estimate without him coming and looking at it. So it's a little bit different, and so we would make sure that it was exactly what we had, the quote that we got from you guys as well, to make sure that's the same type of a window and door.
The original one was, we had for an interior, we were trying not to change the exterior of the building to make it look
Yep,
different. Was the interior roll down, through the pass-through window behind the grill, and that one, for just that one was $3,200. The other windows, if we have exterior pull downs, it's gonna change the look of the building. If that's what town wants to do, great.
The only thing I think with the exterior ones is it's protecting the actual window. If we go on the interior, the glass could still get broken.
Just
Still get
for
fit.
that, the pass-through one, yeah. So, the security screens are exterior. That's the one that,
Ones on the back. The ones
the
on
one
the
on the
back.
three back
would
windows.
be exterior.
So we're doing interior on the one, similar locks on the inside, so whoever's doing the concessions are responsible to be locking the main locks on the inside, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be, yeah, two
Yeah.
slider lock, and the same thing would be for that one. I mean, you could have an exterior one on that one too.
Yeah, then you never worry about the glass.
Right.
That's
Right.
kind of my
You
thing,
guys
like,
don't care about.
you still
what it
have
looks like.
something that may
Yeah.
potentially get vandalized.
Is there still a concern about the climb through from the bathroom ceiling into the concession stand?
So they, well, when.
They tried to do that
They did.
this
yeah.
time
They
too.
walled it, or what did they do?
So what we think happened is that they took a piece of pipe that was left behind in one of the sheds, which. Smashed the window, slid the window open, climbed in through the back window, went to the two interior doors, which were locked, grabbed a chair, stood on top of it, pushed a ceiling tile aside, saw that it is a solid structure. Believe they exited the back door, left that open, went around, took the pipe, smashed in the grill window, slid that over, climbed in, raided everything out, and then walked out the front door and left that open as well.
Okay, is there a solid wall from the back, like the bathroom interior?
Yes, there's,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
yeah, so the exterior, I mean, I would,
I think the point was, I think they came in, when that happened, they came in through the women's bathroom. Came into the back room, but the
Yeah.
back room, the doors were
The
open.
doors were open.
Yes, so.
So we just got two.
I mean,
Well,
over
we-
the years, I'm
Right.
like, I mean, if we put together the cost of over the years, how many times there's been a loss of that.
Yeah.
Football got broken.
Yeah, I mean,
last year,
we, just this year, we had almost $1,000 worth of merchandise taken. Luckily, the community was amazing and literally replaced all the food with actual food donations. So that these monetary donations didn't even have to go towards replacing all the food.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Last year.
yeah, and I wasn't even aware, but then baseball, Pat Young said that it happened to them at some point too.
Several years ago, yeah, probably 4 or 5 years ago, 5
Yeah.
years ago,
Good,
maybe now.
brought up the security thing, but I mean,
Yeah.
something's gotta be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether
Yeah,
it's
so-
Motion lights, motion
So-
cameras, something.
The plan is, and again, talking to the chief, well, we can go to that in a second. So as far as the, so basically, I guess at this point, the commission would need to make a motion to accept, the request, to look into, and installing these types of exterior security shutter, whatever you want to call it, windows things, and then, and accept a donation from Silver Lake Youth Football up to the amount of $5,884 for this project, and then 44,
Yeah, 5844.
5844.
So do we want to do it in a separate?
That's what
First, we
I,
should make a motion. It's just a-
as the face of taking the donations, would like to. That's not. No, but we didn't pay anything for the food. So, I mean,
Right.
I would like to give the whole amount.
So $5,844.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can do it either way. You can do it all at once, or you can do it as
I would
two
do it
separate
Two
motions.
separate,
Okay. So the
Um,
first one would be for the,
and then are we okay with the cost differential that this could potentially?
well, I think that then that's on us, then us to figure out whether we can afford to do that. And if we can't, then what can we do with this $5,844? And if it isn't all, so that's something I have to work with.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'd also like to know, be
Yeah.
involved, so we can tell our community what we use the money for.
We definitely will, yeah, so that's, I mean,
donation kind of feel.
so you wouldn't give us the, so just, well, let's make the most, and then I'll let you know.
Yeah.
know
So you
how
wanna
that
make a
works.
motion?
Wasn't
to
the
Yeah.
approve the
town
windows?
decide what they're gonna do?
No.
We can decide.
So that's what the motion will be.
Okay.
We'll make a motion to.
Well, no, it can't be. So, yeah, you can't have the town decide what to do and then decide if you're gonna
Right.
make the motion. So basically how it works, like when we built a shed. For one of the sports organizations, or a shed was built, they wanted to have a shed built and they donated X amount of dollars for the shed. Then the town's responsible for managing that and coordinating that shed, and that would be the same thing for here, is that you are requesting. That the town approve the permanent structure of these window units. And then Silver Lake Youth Football is donating $5,844 towards that project. So the money's not gonna be used for anything else, because your donation is specific to that. If for some reason that didn't take place, we don't take the money. We don't take the donation. You don't physically give us the donation money until the project is either underway or completion.
Oh,
So you don't need to worry about that. But this vote already here states that you are donating that money, $5,844, and it will be used, it can only be used for what you're donating it for.
Just those pull downs and. Or security shutters or whatever.
The exterior.
We just wanna make sure it's not getting lumped into some.
It can't,
fund next year.
it won't be able to because of the way the donation, with the way they're gonna make the motion, and you're donating it specifically for this. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna donate $5,000 for repairs.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
donating it specifically for these, what you're requesting to have installed on.
and
it.
then, so if it ends up costing, what did you say, 9,000 or whatever, like.
That-
You guys, it's on you guys to figure out the rest?
Yeah, so
Okay,
So basically, after this is done, then the next step for us is that Rob and I will work together to figure out what can we do with either the $5,844 to accommodate everything, and is there funds available either in the rec budget or the facilities budget to make any additional contributions if we really want, the town wants to do all of the windows.
okay.
So we know.
KYSO may also choose to. get
Correct.
their organization.
So if we get a quote from somebody and we say, well, this is what it's gonna cost to do the entire project, this is how much money we have, yes, we could go back to KYSO and say, we're short $1,500 in
Yeah.
KYSO support, is KYSO interested? And if not, then we backtrack the project and say, okay, we can only do this one window now. But the goal is to try to see if we can accommodate the whole thing. which is what you're you're requesting, and that's part of this motion.
So I know you're ready to go. I just got one thing, so. Back to the security screens. Yep. Assuming that they're on the outside, okay. So what we do have is, when we do have large tournaments, state tournaments, and stuff like that, that sliding window is open, that concession stand is running both windows at that time, so that would be
Okay.
something.
We would
Where
want to
if
pull
we did
down
the
on-
roll downs, if we did the
I was
roll
gonna
downs
say that.
everywhere. To Joe's point, we're protecting the glass, but then we can open that up and have it, have a separate entry and exit point, because the 12-year-old state tournament that we had, we actually had to open that back up because there was such a line of people around the front that was distracting the games.
Okay,
And then the tournament directors actually told us to move it out to the back.
yeah,
So just to keep that in mind. So,
Use it as two separate.
yeah.
You guys run the food out both sides?
Oh, yeah.
we should maybe utilize that during football, because that might help too.
Did it was just ice creams out the back. and then,
Yeah.
Put food and prepare food up front.
Yeah,
Just something to think about.
yeah, definitely.
All right,
Hold on,
Open
no,
for-
So are we
open for friendly amendments as I say this to
Pull-
make
what-
sure.
what was pulled down for cost?
I don't yet. We have to
Okay.
get more information, so again,
The motion.
let
has
them
to
make
be
the
made
motion and
first.
then I'll explain the process, yeah.
But open for friendly amendments. and
Yeah, we're
with
gonna
the
make
motion-
two,
We're gonna
right?
make two separate. So the first
You
one
want-
is
I'll do the second one. you like.
okay. So the first one, see, when they're not written down for me, it's harder. Thank you. Okay.
I made some
So,
notes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the external modifications of the Opachinsky shed concession stand, for security purposes.
Second.
For the request.
Per the request of the Silver Lake, no, KYSO, it is Silver Lake Youth Football. That sound good to you guys?
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Aye.
Like, is that good, Chris? Does that sound what you're looking for? Okay, and then the second,
I'll do
motion, here's your amount
So
of the donation.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the donation of $5,844 from Silver Lake Youth Football. Forward the cost of installing security window units to prevent theft at Opachinsky complex.
Pretty good.
Second.
Great
All in
job.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
Uh,
I need a pen that works because I
Oh.
cannot make motions without writing.
So those are covered. So sorry, Chris, so going
Thank
back to your question about, what was your
Perfect.
question about the specific
Thank
the
you.
windows?
Yep.
So basically what will happen now is both Pat and myself, Pat being the facilities manager, the responsibility for property management and some of the town properties. And we're-
Rob.
Rob, sorry, Pat, Rob, kind of thing. Pat's free. Rob's not funny, no.
I know.
We'll work with him. I already gave him the quote that you had received, so he had that information, and had that detailed information. And then that's how he had reached out to a vendor. Again, he works with a lot of vendors as well, so he reached out to a vendor that he had. And that's where he kind of came up with this money. And once this vendor hasn't come to the property, so now the next step is we'll invite this vendor to come to the property, give us a real quote, proposal based off of that with specifications. And then at that point, we'll make a decision how we're gonna move forward, what the affordability is of it, and then obviously we share that with KYSO and Civil Lake Youth Football at the same time, just to ensure that we're meeting your original intent of what.
I
you
just
wanna
want to
do.
make sure that it gets done.
Yep.
That's it. Like, if however that needs to happen, if we need to be involved again in fundraising, I'm willing to do that. I just wanted to have something to present to the community that was concrete in order to say, okay, this is what we raised, this is how short we are. There are people who are willing to donate still. We did start turning away donations because we just weren't sure what was going on, so.
Wait, I want to ask more help. Get Rob again?
No, I don't.
It's
I
already
don't.
About 2 months.
Yeah.
Right.
Past my habits.
Right,
We'd
so
like to
we just wanna,
Move forward. and try to-
yes.
Yes.
Anyway.
Especially once we're closing this up.
Yeah.
For the season, right? No one's using the winter, so.
Right.
Get these sealed up before that would be.
So they did say that there is a lead time, as we know, on things, so we're looking at a 3 to 4 week once we place the order anyway, so we're kind of in the beginning of December, middle of December sometime, but the plan is to try to, with availability with the material and things to get it done by the end of the year, So
Do you
We'll be
don't
moving
store
forward.
things in there for the winter months, do you?
No, not anything, they'll,
Valuable.
no, they'll just be like,
No, nothing from our organization, but they will be
no,
equipment.
no, so that's going under the shed. So the only thing that'll remain in there is like our like food containers, like we
Yeah,
have
yeah.
like we have like a little locker that has some stuff in there and. Yeah, like the cups, the plates, all that, that's just gonna stay on the
Yeah.
shelves, that's fine, because otherwise it's just gonna take up space underneath.
All the
that.
appliances and everything are.
Yeah, that all stays in there,
Everything
but.
is closed, so so potentially we really wanna push this so that it gets done before the start of the season.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it would definitely be done before then.
Next fall,
Next spring.
Oh, spring, yeah.
For baseball.
Baseball.
Yeah.
Baseball. Yeah.
So as I get more information and Rob and I work together on that, I will definitely share all that information along moving forward so that you know where we're at, what the cost is. And again, like you said, Jackie, if we are in shortfall to say, hey, is there an opportunity to have any, additional funds donated?
I'll be
for this
competing
particular
with the playground fundraising,
Yeah.
right now, but it's a little more important, but.
And we,
Yeah.
we also have to start the fundraising program.
Yes,
Starting in
yeah.
2 months, so
Yeah.
we can't be doing 2 different fundraising.
Right.
We'd like to,
No, I mean,
And-
we move pretty fast, Chris, so I mean, I should probably have information within the next couple of weeks, as long as this vendor's available to get, it's really just them coming out. And Rob's already met with them, talked to them, it's just them coming out and looking at the information, getting it. So I would imagine we'd have that really soon.
It doesn't seem like it'll be that much more money either. Compared, but from what you have for quotes and what they have, so, which.
I think the original Moreland one, which is a Abington company, had us at 13 for gates on everything. right?
Yeah.
The exterior,
Those were all interior pull downs.
Yeah, 13,000 total for all interior plans. Which wouldn't prevent breaks of glass, but someone looking in would be like, I'm not gonna be able to get it.
Right.
Gates.
Right.
Yeah.
Less
But
vandalism.
I think-
That's what I'm
I think
saying,
that's
then you,
really
then
It's
you
still
work on
vandalism.
just the
I mean,
vandalism.
the exterior of the vandalism just changes the appearance of the structure.
Right, which is okay. I mean, I don't think, because you're having them down when you're not being used and then you're putting them up when they're being used. And so that also is a little bit more of a deterrent if they see those.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to get
it's
in.
more secure.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
motion lights and motion candles would be awesome too.
Yeah, so just moving on from this, just a quick thing again. So our plan is we talked about possibly doing some smaller units in there now. And Rob and I talked a little bit, we talked to the chief a little bit, and we just to spend money on a smaller scale system that may not be as efficient as what we really need versus trying to go back to the town for a capital plan. And I don't know that that will happen, but the commission's gonna talk about that afterwards next. To vote on that as part of the capital plan and bump that to this year's request. The police chief said that he would work with us on that. Rob has already got some contacts out there, so the big cost for this is gonna be, again, the running the line and everything through from where we need to do it and to do it right, so that it is on our system. People aren't looking at it on their phones. We're not doing those shortfall things. It's more of a elaborate system. Like the chief said, he goes, you'd like to have a multi-million-dollar property out here, not just the concession stand. That it would be nice if you had more eyes and ears out here. So I think that's kind of what the route is that we're looking at. And again, that's a discussion that the commission has to vote on to change their capital plan for fiscal year 26 request.
There is an awful lot of activity down there too. Like, I mean, I've been down there at 9 o'clock at night putting stuff in the snack shack and
Yeah.
it's crazy the amount of cars that just go and hang out in that parking lot.
Yeah.
So,
And it's been a continued problem.
oh yeah,
for years.
lighting
So it
porta
is
potties
happening.
on fire, breaking into the football shed. There's a lot that goes
Yeah.
on down there, so.
So
Perfect.
that's all I have under the athletic complex and field updates. So,
Okay.
did you guys have anything else?
So is that all you need for?
That's all we need.
Does Don have any questions?
John, did you have anything else?
No, that's all I had.
Great,
you.
thank you.
Yep, thank you guys.
So I'll be in touch with you guys as soon as I get any more information.
Sounds good. Thank
Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
We're
Thank
on-
you, guys.
3:30? Yeah, I'll be down there at 3:30.
Okay, so we'll be there.
Thanks.
When we do that walkthrough, Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be.
Yeah. Awesome.
What's up?
I just talked about it.
So if you want to move back up to the beginning of the agenda.
Yep, so. Program
Not
update.
me?
Your
Up to
turn.
Me. All right, so we have some one-day programs that I'm gonna go over. We have an adult pottery wheel workshop that is now full. Sold out pretty quickly. We have Bendeshi's Village Turkey Bowl Youth Flag Football Fundraiser. That's November 29th, day after Thanksgiving. We have a ceramic Christmas tree lamp glazing workshop that's on November 21st, which is also sold out. We have had 15 slots and it filled up super fast. We have Gratitude and Grounding, a post-Thanksgiving reset. That is happening November 29th at the Font School. Dawn, who does yoga over at the Font School, she's running it. It's a new program that she's created for just a reset. And I think that's it. We're working on luminaries. I ordered cookies. I ordered some decorations for our gingerbread house,
Awesome.
event,
What's that?
so.
It's hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate is, the chorus,
Festival?
yeah,
No, Forest?
We might
chorus,
have to-
fundraiser.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Great.
so yeah, so
Yeah.
good.
Awesome. Someone had asked about soup too.
Soup?
Yeah, we used to do soup years ago and I was like, I don't know if we're gonna do that.
We don't have a kitchen.
No, it used to be like common, like. Yeah, we did crock pots.
Oh,
Stuff
crock
now.
pots.
What did we do? Yeah, we did. We did one year. I'm telling you.
Hot chocolate and cider, I don't remember.
No, it was
soup.
like in crock pots.
Somebody, it was the person who used to run the concession stand, down at Grays Beach. It was Rooney.
It was Rainy, you're right.
So he did it.
That
for
was the
commercial
soup.
kitchen stuff.
I'm like, no, I remember
Yeah.
this. That's what it was.
I'm like, we did services.
Yeah, okay,
No,
great.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I
That
mean, that would be a
was
good
for
fundraiser. I'm not cooking it, but. Awesome, thank you.
Next, director updates.
So distracting. No, they're just walking out.
So just the capital plan, so I did give a copy of an updated copy to all of you guys, so if you want to take a look at that. Again, as we just touched briefly on the concession building, security, we had talked after that last meeting that that would be something that maybe we should push up for this year. I just put a $25,000 price on it because the capital plan, free cash has to be $25,000 or more, and we don't really know. I mean, it could be a lot less than that, and if it is, then the funding would have to come from someplace else. But so I put that dollar amount on there, and hopefully capital plan, I think is due to Keith, the beginning of December. So that I have to give this plan to him, and then if I don't have an exact amount, at least I can give him a rough idea of what our plan is for that. And then I basically just bumped everything out a year, off of that. So if you guys have any questions or comments about that?
And this would be, the consideration for this would be a hardwired security system. And who would oversee the system?
So basically at the town hall, there is already a system in place, so that it would go into that
That same
system.
system.
So that it wouldn't have to be individually monitored like we do have a Grays Beach or some of the conservation properties. So that's makes the most sense for that particular property
Right.
and the activity there. So that's what Rob is looking into as well with our security. company that
Yeah.
We already have.
That's what I was wondering, if we did do that at Okeechobee, is that something that we could, depending on the cost of it, put it in as a capital plan for both Okeechobee and the beach, unless you think the beach one's working.
I think the beach
Fine.
one is working
No,
right
okay.
now. Yeah, I think the beach one is working right now. If for some reason I can talk to Rob about that and see, depending on costs and things like that, about lumping them together, we can get a little bit more detail.
Okay, that was just we haven't had to pull it for a while, so.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Those are my own.
So if you don't have any questions, if somebody wants to make a motion on accepting the 5-year capital plan as presented.
Is everybody okay with bump this?
Yes.
shed,
Yeah.
yes, slate of that,
This is.
a priority for you, okay.
It's been a lot of talk about this, so, yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the, 5-year capital plan as presented.
Second.
Yeah, I.
All in favor?
You're asking a
Aye.
second?
Yes.
Second? Aye.
Thank you. The next is just an update on the fiscal year's 26 budget planning. So Keith is working on giving us the deadlines and dates for a lot of those things. We have been informed, both the board of selectmen and the finance committee had met, and at this point in time, the direction is a 4% increase in department budgets, which includes wages and salaries. So it actually could result in a decrease in services based off of contract requirements and cost of living increases through the wage and personnel employees as well. So we'll be working on some of those things moving forward. So there could be a potential of having to, like I said, cut certain things. I don't know what that looks like yet, because I haven't had a chance to really go through our budget or go through all of that, but I'll keep you posted. If I can get things together by December, I will, but our timeframe might be a little bit further out for that, so I'll keep everybody updated. As Randy mentioned with the luminary, we've got planning underway. We have the winter chorus is coming back from the elementary school to do some entertainment. We have the high school choir coming back, and then we are also having Chris Ballerini, who is a Kingston resident, who also performed at the Grace Beach Music Nights. He's going to be coming back and doing some music. Yeah, so that will be great for that. And we are going to be partnering with the Silver Lake Choir, like Randy mentioned. They hopefully will manage the food table and do the hot chocolate, and then use that as an opportunity for donations and fundraisers. They have a school trip this year.
Awesome.
So they're trying to raise money for that. So we'll be working with them. The other thing that we're doing is trying to make it a unified, really community event, and work a little bit more closely with some of our community entities, some of our houses of worship, and the other things. So Brandy has reached out to a bunch of them, which we've had some feedback back from them. So we're meeting with the library, Donald Cologne, and interim director at the senior center next week, Holly, to talk about just more of a, like I said, kind of a group wide plan, and be able to put that information out to the community, because everything's so individual, this one's doing that one's doing that, and they can still do that, but it would be nice if we had some, and the timing was a little more consistent. Sometimes people start at 5:30, some are people,
Right.
so it's all kind of over the place. So we'll try to, I think that will be really helpful. And the two responses that we heard from both of those other organizations, we're excited to have us reach out to them and find out what's going on. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. If you need help with, we'll do the bags like we usually do for the hockey.
Same we can do if you want, basketball.
Help with that too, the pickup. Yeah, we can do that.
Want me to put down basketball.
Basketball for pickup, okay, yeah, I'll mention that, and then, it isn't really recreation, but once you have it solidified of like the department heads and what you think about timing. We could do some type of a mapping or somewhere like, hey, this is a really great place to park. This is because that's always a challenge for residents, I think, like, where do we park, where does it start? Where do we go? And then maybe we can just map it out a little bit after you guys figure that out. If you let me know, I'll come up with something.
Okay. Yeah, we did.
On the Facebook page, just let everybody know.
Yeah, and Don Alkenbright's been putting together some community like newsletter, and so we can make sure we add that to it, so that,
Yep.
yeah, just.
Yeah, even the timing, like people are always like, when do the streets close down and all
Right.
that stuff. So getting
Exactly.
that information out there, I think is helpful too.
Yeah.
So I think that.
Yeah, so just keep me updated and we can add that to the thoughts. Anything else like over the
But
years?
Say like set a time for the tree lighting.
Yeah. So
I'm not saying that again.
the garden club is actually taking over the font school, and they're gonna be doing the festival of trees again, so they're.
Oh,
actually
good,
gonna do
okay.
That,
I
and then we're
wondered
gonna be
that,
doing
okay.
the gingerbread house here, the Thursday before, and then we're gonna set it up in the Barcella room, hence the gingerbread theme that Brandy's got all the decorations for. So we'll do all that art stuff like we normally do down here with the
Great.
music and everything upstairs, but
It's
it'll
gonna be
kind of
awesome.
have a little bit of a theme with the.
I
Yeah.
think
Gingerbread
myself
houses.
and Joe to be the cookie handout people.
Yes, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
If you put something in writing for me, then I can kind of,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just quality does the job.
idea that there's alternative parking other than the normal line.
Well,
What do you?
It's hard
so
for
like,
us to say because
there's
we
hard,
don't.
right, so that's, I think something, that's a challenge we've gotta figure out, but like, there's parking back here. Sure. And I don't think everybody knows that, and then what time do the streets close, and are there other places we could find parking? To kind of ask other places.
Some people park at town hall too.
They do, and they walk out.
Do,
and-
they walk up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's, you know,
Or
I
next
know
to the
St.
little
Joseph's has been like a
Oh,
place to
yeah.
park sometimes and walk
yeah.
down, but then there's not a lot happening on that end.
And then the streets
Yeah.
close at 5:30 and you can't get back out till 8. So again, so people know when they can get in and then when,
Yep.
also when they can get out, because then some people park those places.
And then they can't get back out
could
again.
walk it, yeah.
So, and then, you know, I think that's a conversation for the police chief too, and just kind of like. Figure it
Yeah,
all out.
and with his
Mhm.
first year, maybe that's
Yeah.
good to include him in that conversation. too,
Absolutely.
so.
Yeah.
Yep, no, I think that's great.
If you guys think of anything, let me know and we'll kind of try to organize.
So just a couple of other updates. The Elizabeth Sampson request is out. It's due in January, but I just wanted to reach back out to all of you to see if we want to put in our request again for community events. Last year, we're just really using it for music nights because the movie challenges with the time and everything, but if we just kept it at community, that gives us that flexibility. We've requested $5,000 in the past, so I don't know if you want to continue on with that request, and if you do, if you mind making a motion for that.
I think that, did that work out funding wise? I'd like to make a motion to put in an application for the Elizabeth B. Sampson Fund at $5,000 for community events at Green's Beach.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Thank you. And then the community preservation updates project, so the Opachinski Field and Drainage Project is pretty much almost just about complete. I know the turf contractor is coming back. They're gonna be laying down the final grass on B1. And then we're pretty much done with the other work, but we are just waiting. We wanted to kind of go through the winter and see how things come out. They changed the berm a little bit coming down the hill because that was a little bit smaller, so we want to make sure that that's capturing what we needed to capture. And if that all goes well, believe it or not, we could have a turn back of $30,000 that could go back to community preservation fund. So, but don't take it yet because we're not done. But maybe next year, in the springtime when we might be able to turn it back. That's a
That's
good
great.
amount of money.
That'd be
So we've been fortunate in that regard. The tennis
Yeah.
court project is underway with the engineer working with us to do survey and site plans for over there. So they're gonna be doing that next week. And then they'll also be meeting with me to see if there's a way for us to add pickleball lines. Not necessarily court with a net system, but line system so that people could bring their own nets and actually have another place to play. We just have to figure out the logistics of how the courts are run. So we're gonna look at that. And that project hopefully will go out to bid this winter and then to take place as soon as the weather permits in the early part of end of winter, beginning of spring next year. Outside winterization of the properties, Grace Beach Park winterization, restrooms already complete, and they did blow out the lines back here. So actually they haven't blowed the lines out, but the water's turned off and they've been drained, so they'll come and blow the lines out shortly. Yeah, here. So the water is turned off and it has been drained out. So for the 3 different spigot series we have back here. So that's here. And then the only other thing with updates on here is we still have some funds available for again, making any adjustments that we need to the cooling system here at the Reed Building. We did some work on the stage because we were having some water falling down. None of them work.
It's okay.
No,
It's
there's-
okay.
there's
I've
been
given up. I don't need to take notes.
Um,
Randy's got it.
Water
Do
falling,
I?
with air falling through, not water. Look at you, messed me up. I didn't even know what to say.
Oh, Deb's in the weight room.
Has she been in there the whole
I think so.
time? Maybe she said she
I
might
wish I
join.
did it like a.
And then, so that's the updates on that kayak rack notification. We notified everybody, all the kayaks and paddle boards are gone. And I think we're gonna continue to move forward with the way that we've been doing it. It's kind of like first come, first serve. People can do that. The only thing we may do is add a sign down there saying that you need to have some kind of a sticker, those orange stickers that are given out by the Coast Guard thing, so that we just have information of way to contact people. So we're gonna keep that process the same moving forward, 'cause it seems to be working out well.
Yeah.
With that regards. And then on the property walkthrough on November 20th, again, that's at 3 PM. We'll start at Okeechobee. If we have time, then we'll make our way over here, do the outside here. And then eventually Grace Beach Park, and if time doesn't permit, we'll just schedule another time for that. So I think it's good to have, you all participate. I know it's during the day, so it's hard for working purposes, but, just so when we start, we're talking about the capital plan, we're all kind of on the same page with things. So if you think you're gonna be in attendance next Wednesday, could you, I know, Eileen, you mentioned you could do, you can make it, Pat, you'll be there. And are you? gonna
I
be there
am,
as
so we
well?
should,
So I'll
Yeah.
have Randy post it as the meeting. We just need to post it because we'll have a forum.
Yep.
So we'll do that just in case, and then. We're gonna meet over to Okeechobee, over at the, kind of the outside the B1, and just walk our way in and walk our way around. So Rob will be there. We've invited the sports organizations. So they are, more than welcome to attend to. It's a great opportunity just to have a conversation about what else we need to do. And that's.
bring your wish list with you.
And your wish list.
Quick question, do you have anything that's, any requests or for CPC?
We do not this year, because I think we're gonna be going, the concession security, I think was gonna be requested through, free cash capital plan. So we're not putting in a CPC assessment or application this year.
Okay.
Correct.
That's good, yep. I remember that conversation.
Next meeting, December 2nd.
December 2nd. I know it's just a few weeks away, but I'm not sure if there'll be any budget things. If for some reason we feel that there's not a lot of stuff, we can both wait till January, but if we can schedule it for December 2nd tentatively for now. That works.
Yes.
Any other?
I won't be at the walkthrough, so I'll be away,
Okay.
but December 2nd should work.
We'll take good notes for the walkthrough.
Or,
We should really. I
Or
think we
even if
do anyway,
you
but-
walk through before then and there's something you want to send to me and say, can you just talk about this too? So whatever.
Yeah.
For any of those things, if we can't go and you just want us to bring something up, then, let me know. Just make sure that it's brought up.
I'll try to take notes.
I'll video call you.
Perfect.
Do one of these.
Perfect.
That's all I have. Any other agenda items? If not, we'll just. go with that.
Nope.
All right, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.